Bitcoin, maybe, right? If you think it's still going to go up. Where is Bitcoin right now just alone? And if you add in Broadcom and other semi and AMD, those three account for half of the entire move on the NASDAQ today. So could NVIDIA, in theory, and I'm not saying this would happen, but like, do they have control enough of the economy to actually carry weight in the government? You know, does Microsoft, like, where does this stop? Do these companies essentially become too big to fail?
Gareth Soloway, the chief market strategist and co-founder of IntoMoneyStocks.com, known for his proficiency as a technical analyst and trader, is featured in this video. Gareth will delve into his insights on various topics including cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Nvidia, gold, and selected stocks. Join Gareth in this interview as he shares his expertise on these subjects and more. Before we continue with the rest of the video, do check out daily 5-minute crypto newsletter with all the latest crypto and Bitcoin news. It's a fantastic analysis of on-chain crypto data and breakdowns, and the best part is it's absolutely free. They'll cover expert predictions, breakdowns of on-chain crypto data, and any breaking news you need to know, all in a nutshell. Click the first link in the description and enter your email to join over 50,000 others in becoming a better crypto investor right now.
Amazing thing for investors to see is that how long it can potentially take, and we kind of live in a U.S. market where it's been the favorite place for investor money for so long. But if you look at Brazil's stock market, it's been since 2008 since they've made a new all-time high, and they're way off. Look at China. China had a double top a few, maybe like 5-7 years back, and then the previous high of that double top was back in, I think, the early 2000s. And so, we've been the favored investment for the world, but it does make me wonder if that's going to continue if we have prolonged neutral to higher inflation or what the economy does.
Bitcoin has been confined to a narrow trading range between $50,000 and $52,000, encountering resistance from sellers and profit-taking. However, there's potential for a breakout if Bitcoin surpasses the $52,000 mark, potentially triggering a rally towards $55,000 and $60,000. Conversely, Bitcoin might face a correction if it falls below the $50,000 support level, potentially leading to testing the $48,000 and $46,000 levels as the next targets.
So I was just reading someone else's tweet, and it looks like the global market move today added $2 trillion. So we know NVIDIA added by itself $200 billion approximately. But again, if you look at what Meta's up, what all these other stocks are up, you're talking $2 trillion in a day. I mean, who cares what the balance sheet is of the Fed? It's $7.6 trillion when you're adding that kind of liquidity. And so I don't see how the Fed would ever even consider cutting. And then the question is, which you guys just mentioned, is, okay, well, let's just say oil's right up against resistance. What if this bullish pattern breaks out, and we get another hot CPI number in March with PPI number? Do we start seeing it potentially pricing in another hike? Is that possible?
A fixed-float automatic cryptocurrency exchange fell victim to a hack by an unidentified attacker, who managed to siphon nearly $26 million worth of Bitcoin and ETH. The exchange, which has acknowledged the breach, is currently investigating the incident and actively addressing any potential vulnerabilities. Meanwhile, the platform remains closed until further notice.
Yeah, so I mean, I've been one of the sad souls to be short NVIDIA right now, so I'm not a happy camper today, needless to say. For me, I keep, and this is probably my fault, is that I keep on going back to previous bubbles, right? So previous bubbles where we saw Cisco, and then, what happened to Cisco from 2000, or classic bubbles like we had with the marijuana stocks, and those collapsed, essentially because when you have margins that are like NVIDIA showcasing, and I'll bring up the NVIDIA chart here, is that every other semiconductor is going into this space and trying to produce these chips, and eventually it will be commoditized, right? So the margins are not going to stay at 70 to 80. I think they had 75% margins. The margins within a year or two will be down to a reasonable level of 20 or sub 20. And then that would be my big question is does the same thing that happened to Cisco, which is basically all these other companies rushed into the space of building the backbone of the company. I still remember Sycamore Networks, JDS Uniphase, Lucent. I mean, these are numbers from my pseudo childhood when I was a beginning investor, but that's what happened. And so, for me, that's been my longer term macro view. It's been so wrong right now. But I still think that eventually we will see a top on this thing as margins come crashing down. But you're right. I mean, right now it doesn't look expensive. The question is, if those margins drop from 75 to 25%, is it then expensive at that point?
Ethereum opened Monday with its price reaching $2,934 per unit, indicating a strong start with a notable 14.9% increase from the previous fortnight. The second largest cryptocurrency by market cap experienced a significant 25.9% upswing at the beginning of the week. Ethereum's trading volume in the past 24 hours has remained around $24.74 billion.
Yeah, and I think that's really important. What you're saying here is like for me, you have to differentiate between a long-term trade in the Russell, which if we do hit a recession, like I do think is coming, then small caps don't do well in that. Yeah, they get smashed, right? But there's this interim period, this let's say 3 to 6 month period where people still believe in the soft landing, but maybe some profit taking occurs in the mega caps. Some of that money, that's a lot of accumulation to me. When I see that volume, that tells me there's accumulation, but price hasn't started to move yet, and that might be institutional accumulation.
Yeah, if I saw this, like the volume dropping as we've seen in these other periods in this range, even here, we actually saw volume rising while this price is heading to the top of the range. So you're just looking for more volume on that pop up, but everything there confirms that it wants to go, in my opinion. Doesn't mean it will, guys, but it just when you look for opportunities, if you think the market's looking good, you find the thing that's lagging.
So the question for you guys is, and this is what keeps me up, right? Is that so Nvidia is having a monster move and it's carrying the market, but is this market becoming a thinner and thinner leaderboard? Meaning that we know that 10 of 11 sectors aren't at new all-time highs from 2022. It's the technology sector. It used to be Apple leading along with the rest of the Mag 7. Even Tesla was up there. Now we've seen Tesla kind of fall by the wayside. Even Apple is kind of like if I bring up my chart on Apple, it's still holding on to a general trend line, and bear with me as I bring it up. But the high on Apple was made back in December of last year, and it hasn't made a new all-time high since. So the leaderboard seems to be getting thinner and thinner. But as long as Nvidia is going to go up 15% a day and put 200 billion market cap on the table, who needs the Fed printing money? First of all, let Nvidia do the work for the Fed. But does it spell trouble? Basically.
Gold stabilized around $2,000 per ounce on Friday but remained on track for its second consecutive weekly decline. Strong U.S. inflation data raised concerns about the Federal Reserve potentially delaying interest rate cuts longer than expected by the market. Additionally, the resilience of the U.S. labor market was indicated by the weekly jobless claims figures. On February 19, 2024, gold was trading at $2,150, marking a 0.7% decrease for the week. Both gold demand and supply were lower in 2023 compared to 2022. For more daily dose crypto news, check out these 2 awesome videos on your screen. Click now and we will see you on the next video.